Mackenzie, thanks for taking the time. You touched upon it. But I mean, you can never pick every present that you want to put under the Christmas tree. But I mean, when any conversation starts with, you know, BYU, North Carolina State, BYU. I mean, in the history of this meet, I mean, again, obviously Mike's question was very valid earlier on about what the rain could potentially do to the course. But I mean, if it's somewhat manageable, I mean, we could look back, another 10 years from now and say that this could be one of, if not the greatest, Nuttycombe women's race ever. It is the single premier best women's race in the country this year. Like, how proud are you of that?
Incredibly proud. We've spent a long time excited to get back to this arena. And we take a lot of pride in what we think is having one of the very best cross-country courses in the USA. And our team takes a lot of pride in that. Our staff takes a lot of pride in that. And, for this meet to come back and for us to see the response that we've seen from across the NCAA, it is in this world of trying to get points and be strategic. It's sometimes unusual to see this many really great programs willing to come together in one place and battle it out. Just very recently, we had the Joe Piani Invitational in South Bend, hosted by Notre Dame, and that was a monster meet. I mean, it was wild. And so we've got, to your point, another opportunity to see some really strong teams compete on a true cross-country course. I hope it is rainy. I hope it's muddy. I hope it's an absolute nightmare out there. It won't be, because our grounds crew and our meet management crew, as Coach Burns said, are phenomenal. But I think we're going to get a real exciting taste of what's to come for the rest of this championship season. And I know that the Badgers are just excited to mix it up with that group.
I know Diana's question, just real quick. I just want to ask Mackenzie, from a standpoint of Alabama, were they in and then decided to shift, or was that like a preemptive thing that they were never in? I just want to make sure that I understand how that unfolded.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. It's all been a little bit different and a little less formal this year than it is in the past, because Nuttycombe was gone for a year. I think Coach Palmer and his staff expressed an interest in coming initially, but we were also doing that over the last 2 years, and it's all very hypothetical. And as we were even getting into the summer, there were still question marks of if we were going to be doing big cross-country invitationals.
Of course.
Obviously, that team had an incredible race, in the last 2 weeks, and are showing that they are getting the job done to kind of punch their ticket into NCAAs. The nature of our sport is that if you're in a certain region, you're able to kind of get through maybe a little bit less competitively. And I think they feel like they've got the job done. As much as we would have loved to have seen those women competing along with the likes of BYU and NC State and some of the other great programs that are coming, I think the field is still pretty phenomenal.
Oh, absolutely. I just wanted to make sure clarification that I didn't misunderstand.
We didn't kick them out. Don't worry.
No, I know you didn't.
Okay. Question from Diane.
Matt, can you talk about just the appearance or the Shayrouley, how much she has just stepped it up this season to become a leader for this team?
Absolutely. And I will start that and say that Shayrouley has stepped it up athletically this season. Shay's a big leader for us for a long time. Such a special young woman, coming from Middleton High School, just right down the road, not having an extensive background with cross country or track and field, and having to bridge some serious gaps when she came in here to the University of Wisconsin, with just a lack of experience, a lack of know-how. She has blossomed as a human here. And I think we've seen her step into some really exciting roles as a teammate over the last couple of years. And it's beyond rewarding and gratifying to see her start to translate that into some really special running. I think she battled that lack of experience. She battled some injuries. She battled some confidence issues. And I credit some of my senior leadership and Alyssa Nigaman and Lucinda Crouch, and even some of our new additions like Stella Gilman, who's a transfer from Portland, for pushing Shay and building her up and challenging her, and it really helping her recognize that she's ready to take the next step in her running.
Additional questions for Coach Wartenberger. Eric from dystat.com.
Mackenzie, since you talked about someone like Stella, just the fact, not only her, not only maybe a newcomer that didn't have this opportunity last year, but all these women that are sticking around, fifth year, sixth year, people coming from Division III and Division II and NAIA into Division I, the fact that they're going to get a chance to celebrate, an experience, at Zimmer. I mean, it's so awesome that like so many people that might've never had this pathway, now get to enjoy this. So not just for a young woman on your own team, but for young women on so many other teams, like, like how powerful is that they get to, when so much was taken away last year, they all kind of find their way to Madison and Zimmer this weekend.
Eric, I think you nailed it with the word celebration. This truly is a unique opportunity for so many people. And within our team, we see that, athletes that have joined the program from other programs or haven't had cross-country seasons for years that are finally going to get the opportunity to run this mythic race. And our team is just one team. And you're absolutely right. There's so many women and men that are going to be experiencing this meet for the first time. We're kind of used to those great teams, the BYUs, the Washingtons, the NC States coming in. We recognize those women and men. We know how they run on this course. We know how those coaches train. And it's really powerful and we feel really privileged that we get to host this event where we're getting a lot of new excitement and new energy in. And, I think what we've seen throughout the NCAA this year already is that we're in uncharted territories. The teams that are really good, we knew were going to be good, but there's some teams that are coming out of the woodwork, and there are runners that have really changed their stars in the last couple of years and taken advantage of that downtime and are hungry and are motivated and are passionate in ways that maybe they weren't before we all took our little pause. So I do think Friday is going to feel very celebratory for a lot of people.
We have a question from Mike J, and then we'll have one final question from Diane. Mike?
Hey, Mackenzie, it's, and we talk about how great an atmosphere it's going to be and the Zimmer Course and the history of this meet just continues to get better and grow each and every year. But it's been a long break, and now we're finally getting just a little bit of normalcy. Just, can you tell us, does Zimmer Course favor a particular style, racing style of team? I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that, and we're going to have obviously number 1, 2, and 3 coming here and many more that are fighting for those top 3 positions. But is there a particular racing style for a team that you think that the Zimmer Course favors?
That's a great question, Mike. I'll take it back to what Coach Burns said. This is a true cross-country course. And I think in a lot of ways, it sort of favors, it can have elements that favor a lot of people. It's a hilly course. We've got some long grinders. We've got some steep uphills and some steep downhills. We've also got a lot of just great open flat grass. So, unlike some of the other courses that I think have become big invitationals, this is going to throw out challenges to everyone, and it's going to throw out opportunities for success for everyone. I think the men and women that do really well running at Zimmer are the ones that can keep their cool, and the ones that can roll over the hills and hit the flat stretches fast and maybe deal with some mud and just continue on. We've seen student athletes from Wisconsin, like Morgan McDonald, like Ollie Hoare, like Alicia Munson, and where they really shone on this course was in their ability to keep their composure and to keep their poise. This meet tends to ask a lot of the runners in the first 2 to 3K for both the men's and the women's courses. And I think the runners that are savvy and the runners that are able to kind of keep that confidence alive, even when things get tough, tend to excel on this course for sure.
And one last question from Diane.
So Mac, with only being allowed to run 7 in the championship race, are you going to have a hard time picking those 7, or do you know who those people are going to be?
I barely slept, Diane. It's been the question on my mind and our staff's mind for days. We feel very lucky to have some of the best depth we've ever seen in this program, and so getting that down to 7 is gut-wrenching. I will say that we're very excited about the quality of our women's and men's open races this year, because every team is having to make this tough decision and this speculation pretty early in the season about who their top 7 runners are. We fully expect the men and women that spike up and line up in those open races earlier in the day to produce some incredible performances. I think we've gotten really close to where we want to be with our women's top 7. And it's exciting, but I'm so proud of this team for the work that they've done. I mean, I could go back to 14 and feel like I've got a really great squad. So we feel pretty excited for this weekend.